boys and girls. So we're back to kind of normal things this week since Dr. Seuss week is over. But this is the last week of the quarter, and so we're still going to be doing review, especially since I'm not going to be having Zooms with everybody. I'm only going to be doing testing Zooms. So we're still going to kind of review. So let me go back and remind you what we were doing before Dr. Seuss week. So we were talking about fairy tales, folk tales, and fables. So the fairy tale anchor chart is still kind of behind me, right? And at the very end of, not last week, the week before, I read you Goldilocks and the Three Bears, which we said was kind of a fairy tale, right? It had some of the pieces in it, but not all of them, because it doesn't really have the magic. It doesn't really have a castle. There's not really evil. This is one where it's got the rule of three, right? The three bears. And it's kind of a fable because there is a lesson, but it falls under the category really of a folk tale. So what I want to do today is read you a different version of this. A lot of authors like to take original folk tales or fairy tales and rewrite them in a different way. And those sometimes are called fractured fairy tales because they break apart the story and then they change it. So this is Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and today I'm going to read you Believe Me, Goldilocks Rocks. And this is the story of the Three Bears as told by Baby Bear. So Baby Bear is the one talking and telling the story in this book. Okay? Before, it was kind of from the point of view of Goldilocks, right? Because she would talk about how she went in and she tried things and they were just right. But it was also, I guess it was maybe more the narrator talking, because the narrator told you about the bears before and then Goldilocks and then the bears again, right? This one is all told from Baby Bear's point of view. So, as you're listening to me read this book, your job is to think of 3 things that are different and write about 3 things that are different in this book than are in this book. 3 big differences, okay? And if you forgot what this one's all about, you can go back in Seesaw and find this book. Even though it's archived, I think you could probably re-listen to the video. Okay, so here we go. Believe me, Goldilocks rocks. Here we go. Okay, let me get a little bit closer so you can see the pictures. It all started when I complained about my breakfast. Porridge again, I said. The next thing I knew, we were all out the door for a walk. Dad, also known as Papa Bear, grumbled something like, "He'll eat it if he gets hungry enough." At first, I lagged behind. "Stay where we can see you, Baby Bear," called Mom, a.k.a. Mama Bear. "Not so fast, Baby Bear," Dad called Dad. I stomped my foot. "My name is Sam." Then I ducked into the woods and took my secret shortcut home. Ooh, he went back home. When I reached our house, I heard a voice. Someone was inside. I didn't know what to do. Should I run to tell Mom and Dad for help? Or should I chase off the intruder myself? Baby Bear would have run for it, or made a run for it, but not Sam. I peeked through the kitchen window. A girl was taking pictures with her cell phone. "Ha! This will teach Little Red Riding Hood to double dare me," she muttered. "Goldilocks does not lose at truth or dare." She paused in front of the porridge bowls. "Ew," she said. I liked her already. Goldilocks took a picture of herself in my dad's chair and then my mom's chair. "You want proof, little Miss Hoodie?" she asked. "Here it is." So it sounds like Little Red Riding Hood has dared Goldilocks to go into their house and do these things, and she's taking selfies to prove that she's doing it. That's what I'm noticing so far. I hope you're noticing that also. Next, she took a picture of herself in my chair, and when she got up, the chair stuck to her rear. She waddled around and she jumped up and down, and finally she gave the chair a good whack, and it came off in pieces. "Whoops," she said. "There goes my allowance." See, she meant to pay us back. Not that I cared. That chair was way too small for me, too. Upstairs, Goldilocks slipped off her shoes, which was very thoughtful of her, and took some video of herself jumping on my dad's bed and my mom's bed. "I can't believe I'm doing this," she giggled. "Now, jumping on the beds is not allowed in my house. This was my one and only chance to get away with it. So I tapped on the window. "Ack!" Goldilocks screeched. "Let me in," I begged. "I won't tell." Goldilocks opened the window and we introduced ourselves. She apologized for breaking in. We were really quite civilized. And then we jumped and jumped and jumped and jumped until we heard my mom calling from the woods. "Baby bear, where are you?" Goldilocks raised an eyebrow. "Baby bear?" she asked. "Seriously?" "Never mind," I said. "Here's my plan." I ran downstairs just as my parents were coming in. "Baby bear!" Mom exclaimed. "Thank goodness you're okay." "There's an intruder upstairs," I said. "You know better than to go around making up stories," Dad said. They sat down to eat their porridge, their cold, dried out porridge. I brought in my broken chair. "See, the intruder did this." "What a naughty thing to do," Dad said, wrecking a perfectly good chair just to get our attention. "But I saw her," I insisted. "Come on." I tugged them upstairs and showed them the messy covers on their beds. "Baby bear, you know that jumping on the beds is a big no-no," Mom scolded. "But the intruder," I said, pushing them toward my room. As soon as we reached my bed, "Boo!" Goldilocks yelled, and what happened next was priceless. "Run!" Dad cried. "To our safe place," Mom screeched. "And if we don't make it, I love you both with all my heart." I made sure they saw me chasing Goldilocks through the woods, in between her fake screams and my pretend growls. We traded phone numbers. Mom and Dad were so impressed with my courage that they gave me everything I asked for. A bigger chair, spicy breakfast burritos instead of porridge, and a promise to stop calling me Baby Bear. Well, there was one thing I didn't get. "Can't I jump on the beds just once in a while?" I asked. "No," my parents said. "Absolutely not." But hey, it was worth a try. All right, and that's the end. This part here says think about it, because the author is telling you to think about how this version is different than this version. And I'm sure you're going to be able to come up with some things because they are very different. I just need you to come up with at least 3 ways they are different, okay? 3. And Mrs. Kimmel would prefer you to type it out instead of a video, because videos take Mrs. Kimmel a really long time to watch, okay? So try to type out sentences, and it's good practice for you to write, okay? Typing out sentences. All right, I hope you enjoyed that story. Tomorrow I'll be reading you another classic and then another fractured.